Welcome to Taking Your Turns with a Ladder 1v1 replay. Now this is a crazy game, again, on Silverhead Crossing, where one player rushes through the middle here and ends up face to face with the enemy leader, where both leaders are just very close to combat. Now I did upload this similar game and similar matchup, we have Rebels versus Northerners, on my last video, but this one has two differences. First of which is we have a red mage and an orcish warrior as the leaders here. But the second of all, which is the most important one, we have Megak the First. This is Lord Megak playing the Northerners, versus Glouk playing the Rebels here, which are both very high elo players and kind of the best one of the best players we have right now in Ladder. And let's see how it plays out. I did talk about this map a little bit already. That is it being kind of complicated with the three lanes that are very far from each other. So you gotta really commit to what you're doing. See, these are interesting recruits. We have Woes, which I think is a decent unit to recruit here. You have some forests, which are strategically placed that you can use if you want to advance. And the Woes General is not a bad unit, but we see a very early Shaman and a Merman Hunter, which has good flexibility. It has very good movement speed over here. And this is one of the few units that can actually cross the gap between the lanes rather easily, since they can swim through the water without an issue. And we have the usual recruits, and here's something that I've noticed Megak do a lot more often recently. He will just sneak in one archer in his initial recruits and send them with his rush. So now we have all the grunts ready to go to the south and the archer accompanying them. I don't think he knows what he's playing against, and an archer does very well against a lot of counter units. So I think that's an interesting choice. At the same time, you won't have an assassin going down. We'll see how it plays out. But we also have a Naga over here, and whenever you're rolling a Naga, you really want him to be a strong one, because these 4 hits, they do add up with the strong trait. But it is just a quick and intelligent one. A little bit unfortunate on this side. Now this is how you usually play this map, how I've seen played out a lot of times for the Northerners. You just send your first rush down south, then you secure your top lane villages, you recruit some units to defend from whatever may come. I see Glouk is also playing it rather cautiously. You see the tree is moving up to the center, probably gonna try to pressure the center here. Based on how he's positioning, he only has one scout up north, so it is generally enough to defend against the Wolf Rider, but if there are more units coming, then the scout will need some backup. I think this is rather interesting. We only have one Elvish fighter on the initial recruitment. Yeah, Megak moving his units down south, getting one more grunt in the center to the reinforcements to defend here. We have the first leader hits. I'm not sure if this is something you want to do. You could also just retreat with your Naga and save it. You do get the village for at least one turn, but getting close to a mage is super scary with his magical attack, 8x4 fireball. This Naga is unlikely to survive the round. I think it might be a bit of a waste. Yeah, let's check this out. Yeah, it dies in one rotation, 3 fireballs enough to pick it off, and now you basically lose your Naga for nothing. Normal fight recruitments, and this is not something that I was expecting, to be honest. Usually you would probably have some fighters defending these 2 villages, because fighters have a lot more HP in general than an archer and an Elvish Shaman would be. So these 2 are quite vulnerable, especially the Shaman with 25 HP. She will not survive one cycle against 2 grunts hitting her. We'll see how it plays out. It is still quite flexible. You can, if you really want to, you could get your Merman to help out, but you can also just move your leader and recruit some fighters as backup. At this point, both sides will have a good idea of what's going on, where the units are. But Megak probably has not spotted the Woes yet, which might get us some surprise attacks here. Look, decides to retreat here, give up both villages. I think it is the correct choice, simply because it is nighttime. And Megak has had very good movement. All of his units are ready to hit this village down here. So even if there was a resilient fighter over here, you might still be a little bit concerned with bad luck. So Glouk has to give up both villages to make sure that his units survive. the Elvish Shaman just not able to tank. But in return, he does get the pressure mid lane, because he sees there are only 2 units. He shoots his archer to help out, he crews 1 shaman, and this Vos, Mega doesn't know that the Vos is here, and he's probably not even counting on it. This is why he walked up like this, losing his first run. But getting the villagers down south in return. And yeah, you do lose both villages, but at least you don't get hit by these grunts. This makes it somewhat worth. Eric deciding to move the assassin up north, he did get vision. So the Wolf Rider sees there's nothing up here, nothing defending the villages, so get 1 more pressure point, which Glouk needs to somehow defend. He might do so with the Merman Hunter over here. That's also something that I see Mega do quite a lot as well. It's a really nice idea to just spam Goblin Spearmen. They are cheap units, they don't cost any upkeep, and they just slow down your opponent. So this Spearman survives the fireballs from the red mage. Only 1 out of 4 hit. But unlucky. No, it's 2 out of 4 hit. But unlucky for Glouk here. But this slows the opponents down so much. And what a dodgy goblin, oh my god. Let's look at this turn up, but minus 62% on the hits, taking way too much just on this one goblin. The overall Glouk been rather unlucky, taking more damage than he should have. Inflicted less hits than he should have, especially after this one. But he gets to run past the Wolf Rider. This is another disadvantage of Mega using the Wolf Rider to go around. Now he's open for the other scout, and he could try and trap the Orcish Warrior here at the leader. That's also mean that the village is open here. So. Now Glouk decides to let his units defense here, which I think is fine. It is the second night cycle. It will be over in a bit, but I think maybe it would be better to retreat them. You give up 1 more village, but then you get to survive with these units and start fighting during the daytime. Because you won't be supporting the side in any way, your leader is way too far away to send reinforcements. And these 3 units will not be enough to stop 4 grunts and an archer during nighttime. Yeah. The shaman goes down to just 2 orcs. You lose the village anyway. Not really getting relation damage. But you get the troll up with the kill, and we get more goblins, and this is something that Mega just loves to do. He recruits a lot of goblins. And it is probably the best play you have. All you need to do is stall out the red mage here, while you build up your economic advantage with these 3 bonus villages that you have. Besides to go back to this Wolf Rider, it is kind of fine. You are taken during nighttime, but you also give up on all of these unprotected villages. It is probably you get the advantage of just pressuring the scout and having more units to support your leader. Because if this gets cleared up, and spearmen don't tend to survive for too long, if this gets cleared up, you might be in a position to lose your leader. Just having the Wolf Rider help out here does make a lot of sense. And with these 3 villages, you should have enough of an economic advantage where you don't need to push for much more. But then you get into a situation like this where you start losing your villages. To the scout running around. The red mage getting another kill. Honestly, with how active Glouk has been with his red mage, I wouldn't be surprised if he leveled up this game. And he did bank a lot of gold, because he didn't recruit for a while. I got some fish surviving the assassin. Yeah, scout going down to the pressure. We get more goblins. Maybe meeting new raids. And for all the goblins that Mega recruit would be his favorite one. Assassin going down. You do get poisoned for it, but the Merman Hunter survives, close to leveling up. I think this is probably a decent trade, but we are running into a problem where Glouk hasn't recruited units for quite a while. He still has 55 gold set up. But he is close to this keep, this castle, which lets him recruit a lot of units and see where it goes. And so far the villages are even simply because Mega let this 1 scout slip by and get these 2 villages. We will probably get them back this turn. And the tree started moving. Honestly, a little bit disappointing. You had a tree that was worth 20 gold sit in this forest for quite a while and you didn't use it in any real capacity. You're moving it down. I don't think it will be of any value though. Yeah, maybe actually claiming the villages here. And this troll web is just eating so much pressure. Let's check the stacks one more time. It's some people point out they want to see more of them. Still, Mac is still ahead on luck. He has been quite lucky this game. It's 20% difference between them, like his inflicted and his taken. But he also lost a lot more units. These goblins, while they are cheap, it's still 9 gold per goblin, and if they don't get a lot of rotation damage, it doesn't really help you too much. But having the economic advantage, especially with villages having the pressure here, will probably be worth more than this 23 gold that you're behind on. That's also an interesting thing where you zone of control log the fighter, you don't fight him during daytime because it is not a good trade in general. And since you can't run away, you can just wait for a better time of day, starting him. Oh, there's Archer going down, a couple more recruits again. It is amazing how many trolls and how many goblins mage recruits here. It's been a bit lucky on the Archer kill. I didn't expect that one as well. Luck is on a lot mega side this game. Also, I think this is quite good. It was also a pretty good prey from Glouk in general. The only issue being right now the Wolf Rider up north taking all these unprotected villages. Because his scout died over here. Now he does get to take over the villages down south. I realized it quite early since the ground to defend. It's still 8 to 8 villages so far, so it is a pretty close game, but the red mage being poisoned for so long is becoming a bit of an issue. Caritas is confused as well with all this action. Eventually, Glouk will lose all of his western villages, so he is fighting against time right here. He starts taking the first hit with his grunts on Dawn. Doesn't do too much yet. Yeah, the shaman going down, not much she can do. This troll 1 XP from leveling up. And this was, well, it is nighttime. It has found a forest hex to be on. And you already see some value from it. It was in general pretty good. The only problem it has is the bad defense on most styles, but 40%, having 40% is pretty decent. Can survive this night turn. The red mage going on, pushing the villages. The red mage is quite a good leader. You don't see it a lot, but if you can play aggressively with it, use the 8x4 fireball attacks, it can break lines pretty well and get the villages like that. And the tree is going down. The fire arrows. Some good set. Mayak right now just has too many villages to fight against. I feel like Glouk can't break through here. And the moment you recruit the troops on this keep, he had to have some pressure, but he couldn't give up with it because there were too many goblins to get through, too many trolls to get through. And I think at this point it's very difficult to come back because there's nothing really to play for. You get a level up and the netcaster, which is a super nice unit to have. A lot of hits on the Orc as well, but I don't think it's enough. Maybe if Mega slips up, you might get a chance for a leader kill, but all he needs to do is just go back and start recruiting. With all of these villages up north, he has way too much gold income. But against 3 trolls being recruited, being nested like that, just to make sure he doesn't die. Counter all these advancing elves. Let's get a low level up. more trees going down. And I think at this point, at least very soon, Glouk should see that this is not really going progress, make any progress for him. Still tries to get somebody out here. Gets 4 hits into a troll, and the trolls do rather poorly into mages, but there are just too many of them. He's still repositioning a bit. Recruiting even more goblins and trolls. At this point, he's not even concerned with the grunts anymore. Let's get all those trolls out. The mage missing most of her fireballs. I think it's nice to keep on fighting on, but just having 2 villages every turn, not being able to recruit on the castles. There's just no way you play this out. And the kill with the golden troll rock lower. So yeah, congrats to Lord Megag. I think it was a very nice game, especially with the unit recruitment, with the way you move around. And again, this is not an easy map to play with the 3 lanes. It is a very interesting example of how it can play out with giving up a lane to just try and push through the other lane and how to defend from it. So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. And especially if you have a side-by-side comparison with the last game that I reviewed, it is interesting to see how different the players approach this one. So I hope you enjoyed this as well, and I'll see you in the next video.